बिस्मिल्लाहिर्रहमानिर्रहीम। डियर स्टूडेंट्स, वेलकम बैक। आज हम लेक्चर नंबर 30 पढ़ेंगे और दिस इज़ द कोर्स बिजनेस इकोनॉमिक्स ECU 400। पहले की तरह आई विल ट्राई टू रिवाइज व्हाट वी हैव लर्नड इन द प्रीवियस लेक्चर। जैसा कि मैंने आपको बताया कि वी हैव डन विद द टू मेजर पार्ट्स ऑफ दिस कोर्स, that is the micro part, and then we have done with the macroeconomics part. In the last lecture, in lecture number 29th, we have started to discuss the Pakistan economy, right? So all the concepts which we have learned during the previous lectures, unko koshish karenge ki how we can apply or see those concepts in terms of Pakistan economy में कैसे देखेंगे उनको। तो पिछले लेक्चर में आई हैव गिवन यू द ओवरव्यू ऑफ पाकिस्तान इकोनॉमी फॉर द पास्ट 50-60 years, how we spent those 60 years and what was the progress in different eras of Pakistan economy. We started to discuss from 1947 and ended with 2011. तो डिफरेंट एरियाज़ की बात की, हमने ये देखा कि मुख्तलिफ सालों में देयर वर अप्स एंड डाउन इन द पाकिस्तान इकानमी। ओवरऑल देयर वाज लॉट ऑफ फ्लक्चुएशंस इन GDP ग्रोथ, अनएम्प्लॉयमेंट में बहुत सारी फ्लक्चुएशंस देखी हमने, इसी तरह इन्फ्लेशन की हमने बात की। सो वी हैव लुक्ड ऑलमोस्ट ऑल द पैरामीटर्स ऑफ पाकिस्तान इकानमी ओवर द पास्ट 50 years in the previous lecture. And then we've also touched upon the structural changes or structural adjustment program of Pakistan economy. So we have said that why these programs are important, why these programs are needed, and how we can implement or use those programs to foster the economic growth in Pakistan economy. तो उसके बारे में भी बात की। तो this was just a brief overview of the previous lecture, जिसमें हमने बात की थी कि पिछले 60 सालों में पाकिस्तान इकानमी में क्या सूरत हाल रही है। आज से हम जो बाकी 3 से 4 लेक्चर हमारे रह गए हैं, विल टॉक अबाउट डिफरेंट सेक्टर्स, द परफॉर्मेंस ऑफ डिफरेंट सेक्टर्स ऑफ पाकिस्तान economy during the past 50-60 years. We'll talk about the problem associated with those sectors. We'll talk about the policies regarding those sectors. We'll talk about the production, or we'll talk about the output of those sectors. Issues, problems की बात करेंगे और policies की बात करेंगे. So this is this will be the scope of the coming lectures. तो आज जिस चीज़ पे हम बात कर रहे हैं, जिस पर्टिकुलर सेक्टर पे बात कर रहे हैं पाकिस्तान इकानमी के हवाले से, so that is the agriculture sector of Pakistan. तो we'll talk about the agriculture sector of Pakistan in today's lecture in detail. Okay, what is the situation of agriculture sectors in Pakistan since independence, and what is the current situation in Pakistan, and what are the government policies, what governments are taking steps to improve the agricultural production, agriculture sectors in Pakistan economy. तो ये आज scope of lecture है. So the sequence or the lecture outline is that first of all I would like to tell you something about briefly the agriculture sectors, and then we'll talk about the agriculture policies given by the government of Pakistan from time to time. So this is the sequence which we will follow in our today's lecture. तो start करते हैं. As agriculture is not confined to only the not confined to the cultivation of the land, growing and harvesting crops, but there are some other things or other factors that needs to be included in the agriculture sector, right? That also part of the agriculture sector. तो हम ये कहते हैं कि एग्रीकल्चर सिर्फ ज़मीन में काश्तकारी का नाम नहीं है कि आप फसलें उगाते हैं, उनको काटते हैं, then supply in the market and get money or income from those in returns, but there are some other important factors or sectors which are the part of agriculture sector. उन पे भी हमें बात करनी चाहिए, उनको भी focus करना चाहिए, because they are part of agriculture sector. So on one side, जब आप crops की बात करते हैं, cultivation of land की बात करते हैं, different crops की बात करते हैं, और साथ उन harvesting की बात करते हैं, तो साथ साथ आपको उन sectors का भी बात करनी चाहिए. तो agriculture sector जो है is not only confined to the cultivation of land and growing crops and harvesting crops, but there are some other sectors, some other concepts which are the part of agriculture and are playing important role in Pakistan economy. Agriculture sector also includes livestock. Livestock is very important part of agriculture sector. So 49.1% of value-added goods in agriculture sectors are from the livestock sectors, and 11.4% of GDP, right? So livestock adds into the agriculture sector by 49.1%, and if we measure it in terms of GDP, it accounts 11.4% of GDP. 30 to 35 millions of rural population engage in livestock raising, right? So as far as the employment generation is concerned, 30 से 35 मिलियन तक लोग जो है लाइफ स्टॉक जो है देहाती इलाकों में, रूरल एरियाज में, and they are busy in livestock raising, right? This is one of the important area of agriculture. So agriculture also includes the livestock breeding. Second important area that is included in area that is the part of agriculture sector is the fish farming. Although it has a small contribution in GDP, still earn foreign exchange through exports, right? दो अगरचे इसका थोड़ी contribution है GDP में, but still it earns foreign exchange by exporting fishing products to other countries. It is good neutral value of fish with protein content of 15 to 20%. Important source of livelihood for coastal inhabitants. Coastal areas में जो लोग रह रहे थे उनके लिए एक important source of income है, उनके रोजगार का वसीला होता है. So in 2003 and 4 की अगर बात करें, so 90,000 plus millions of fish and fishery products were exported, right? So in this particular 1 year, 90 million plus fish and fishery products were exported to other countries, and the earnings were almost rupees 7.6 billion through those exports of fish and fishery products. So fish farming जो है is also a very important part and parcel of agriculture sector. So this is one of the good or important source of income or earnings for the peoples who are living there on coastal areas. Also we exports the fish and fish products, and it adds into the foreign exchange of the country. And the third जो important area है, which is also part of the agriculture, it is included in the agriculture, it is the poultry farming. Poultry farming has emerged as a good substitute of beef and mutton, with 336 million chickens production, 4,850 million eggs, and 303,000 tons of poultry meat in 2003. So एक साल में इतना 350 मिलियन के करीब जो है चिकन की मीट की सेलिंग हुई, एग्स जो जितने प्रोड्यूस हुए सोल्ड हुए, एंड देन द मीट जितना सोल्ड हुआ. So you can imagine it has a major contribution in agriculture sector. So poultry farming जो है is one of the new area, as important part of the agriculture sector. Last and important part is the forestry. Forestry also included in the agriculture sector. Now forestry, 4.8 of the total land is under forest. Recommended level is 20-25%, but in case of Pakistan, the total land under forest is 4.8%, but the recommended figures by the expert is that at least 20-25% of the total area should be under the forest, right? So it's good for bad environmental conditions. It is very healthy. It provides very healthy environment to the society, to the individual living in the country. So we can by looking at this slide आप अंदाज़ा कर सकते हैं कि एग्रीकल्चर जो है सिर्फ ज़मीन में फसलें लगाने का नाम नहीं है, उनको काट के उनको बेचने का नाम नहीं है। इसके साथ साथ एग्रीकल्चर में हम बहुत सारे और एरियाज़ को भी शामिल करते हैं, वो शामिल होते हैं, पार्ट ऑफ एग्रीकल्चर होते हैं। लाइक हमने बात की लाइफ स्टॉक फार्मिंग की, उसके बाद फिशरी फार्मिंग की हमने बात की, पोल्ट्री फार्मिंग की बात की, एंड देन वी हैव टॉक्ड अबाउट फॉरेस्ट्री। सो ऑल दीज आर important part of agriculture sector. So we have to, or the government of Pakistan has to look or consider these, consider the development of these areas also when they are considering the development of agricultural crops and other things. So they must look at these areas also if they want to promote really agricultural sector in the economy. So this is just the brief introduction of agriculture sector, what is about the agriculture sector and what kind of areas are included in the agriculture sector. Now there are two leading successes of Pakistan agriculture sector. So if we look at the history of Pakistan, so there are two leading successes of Pakistan agriculture sector. जो सबसे पहली सक्सेस है दैट इज़ द ग्रीन रेवोल्यूशन इन द लेट 1960s. तो 1960s में, लेट 1960s में एक ग्रीन रेवोल्यूशन आया था पाकिस्तान में, जिससे देयर वाज ट्रेमेंडस इंक्रीज इन द एग्रीकल्चरल प्रोडक्शन इन पाकिस्तान. उससे अर्निंग ज़्यादा हुई थी और एम्प्लॉयमेंट ज़्यादा हुई थी. सो दैट इज़ वन ऑफ द leading success of Pakistan agriculture sector. So first of all, before go to the second success of Pakistani agriculture sector, we'll look at what is green revolution is all about. Now green revolution means introduction of new technology in agriculture sector in order to increase its production through different measures, right? So when we say that the word green revolution, it implies that introduction of new technology in the agriculture sectors in order to increase production by adopting different measures in this particular sector. Many of the world countries made diversified efforts through following measures. Now if we look, we are going to see a few measures. So different countries have adopted different measures to promote or to increase agricultural production, right? So by adopting new techniques, new technology in the agricultural sector or in the production of agriculture sector, right? Now, so green revolution means it is the introduction of new technologies or adoption of new technology in order to increase the agriculture sector production by using different measures. तो different मुल्कों ने मुख्तलिफ timings पे different measures use किए to increase agricultural production, and that is known as the green revolution, right? So one of the measures that some of the countries have adopted is the introduction of newly high yield varieties of wheat, rice and maize. बहुत सारे ममालिक ने नए जो है बीज यूज़ किए for the wheat crops, rice and maize. जब when you use new varieties, latest varieties of different crops, of course, and those varieties are comparatively more productive as compared to the previous or the old varieties, right? And some of second measure is that improvement in per acre yield through the quality fertilizers to compensate for the land deficiencies in many less developed countries. So in most of the countries have used quality fertilizer in order to cover up the deficiencies of the land, right? So अगर land इतनी ज़्यादा वो ज़रख़ेज़ नहीं है, ज़मीन इतनी ज़्यादा ज़रख़ेज़ नहीं है, तो बहुत से ममालिक ने they have used the new fertilizer or the quality fertilizer in order to raise the quality of the land, right? To improve the deficiencies of the land, and this is done by most of the developing countries or the underdeveloped countries, and this is very useful measure to raise agriculture production. So Pakistan has also used basically this measure to raise agriculture production in the Green Revolution. The third measure which was used under the Green Revolution by Pakistan also is the pesticide and insecticides have expanded. The average single farmer can tend by reducing the time required to disinfect the crop, right? So बहुत सारे pesticides जो हैं, insecticides जो हैं, they were used by the farmers basically to disinfect the crop from different diseases, right? जैसा कि आप देखते हैं, अगर आप न्यूज़ पढ़ते हैं, सुनते हैं, अखबार देखते हैं, आपको अंदाज़ा हो गया, आप जानते होंगे कि जब वीट या क्रॉप की बात आती है, राइस की बात आती है, तो यू कैन लिसन न्यूज़ फ्राम द टीवी और फ्राम अदर मीडिया. आप सुनते होंगे कि बताते हैं कि डिफरेंट किस्म की बीमारियां हैं, डिफरेंट किस्म के इंसेक्ट्स हैं जो कि क्रॉप्स को नुकसान देते हैं. दे आर नॉट गुड और हार्मफुल फॉर द क्रॉप्स, राइट? तो पेस्टिसाइड, डिफरेंट पेस्टिसाइड वर इंट्रोड्यूस्ड in this green revolution and then for to disinfect the crops from different diseases. This is again one of the measures to raise agriculture production in the country. And other measures of green revolution, irrigation has made double cropping feasible in many countries where formerly one harvest a year was standard. तो बहुत सारे ममालिक में एंड इन पाकिस्तान आल्सो जहाँ पे साल में एक फसल जो है ज़मीन से उठाई जाती थी, प्रोड्यूस की जाती थी, विद अवेलेबल एंड ए गुड इरिगेशन सिस्टम इन द कंट्री, उससे कोशिश की गई कि बजाय एक क्रॉप उगाने के, कल्टीवेट करने के, गवर्नमेंट ऑफ पाकिस्तान हैज़ ट्राइड एंड मोस्ट ऑफ द अंडर डेवलप्ड कंट्रीज हैव ट्राइड to double cropping in the country by with the help of irrigation facilities available in the country. And fifth, the new methods of rotating crops were developed with increased land productivity, right? So different methods were used to rotate crops in different time periods, and which has increased the land productivity and finally it has increased agriculture production in the economy. And then new shorter plants have been discovered that are more responsive to fertilizer. तो एक तहकीक के ज़रिए शॉर्टर प्लांट्स की डिस्कवरी की गई जो कि मोर रिस्पॉन्सिव हैं फर्टिलाइज़र के. एंड देन सिमिलरली सम स्टडीज स्टडियर टाइप्स आर मोर डिजीज रेसिस्टेंस नाउ एंड these type of plants are more disease resistance as compared to other plants. तो कुछ ऐसे plants डिस्कवर किए गए which are more disease resistant as compared to other plants. Botanists have been able to breed the photosensitive genes out of plants, making planting possible at any time of the year. So the researchers जो हैं botanists ने research की and they said that they introduce different kind of methods, measures, जिसकी वजह से you can see that plant can be made possible at any time of the year during in the country or in the economy. So these were some of the measures of green revolutions, and that were adopted by the Pakistan economy in the late 60s, and then it helped in increasing the agricultural productivity and overall percentage or contribution of agriculture sector in GDP in Pakistan economy. Impact of green revolution, of course, it had impact on production, consumption, overall societal development, leading to a tangible increase in production of agricultural products and easy and cheaper supply of products to the consumer, right? So there are multiple impacts of that particular green revolution in Pakistan economy, and is on agriculture production, consumption, so on society, leading to greater production or tangible increase in the agriculture sector production, and of course provide cheaper goods to the consumer. So right, and then the green revolution has also an important impact on the increase in agriculture production. Impact on agriculture production per acre yield million tons 1963 to 1964. That is about 11.1. In 1968-69 is 70 million. Agriculture income in current prices is rupees. In 1959 to 60 was 7.7, but after 10 years in late 60s, when there was the Green Revolution, so that income was raised from 7.7 million to 15.5 million, almost double, right? So Green Revolution has a lot of impacts on production of agriculture sector, crops, as well as employment generate हुई, real wages लोगों की बढ़ी, right? So this is how Green Revolutions in late 60s has contributed in agriculture sectors of Pakistan economy. So this was a brief. Now this was the first success of Pakistan agriculture sector. Now if we talk about the second important success, you can see on the bottom of this slide, it is the tripling cotton production over 1980s due to the use of quality seeds and proper incentive to the sector. So 1980s में जो है, there was tremendous increase in the production of cotton crops due to use of better quality seeds and incentive provided by the government to this particular sector in Pakistan economy. तो दो success की बात की जो कि which are very important successes in Pakistan agriculture sector. इनकी जब आप बात करते हैं, एक बात की we have talked about the Green Revolution in the late 60s, जिसकी वजह से agriculture production में इजाफा हुआ, employment में इजाफा हुआ और लोगों को चीज़ें सस्ते रेट्स पे मिली because of huge production of goods and services in the agriculture sector. Second जो success है agriculture sector की in Pakistan economy is the tripling of the agriculture crops, agriculture production in 1980s due to the availability of new seeds, variety of new seeds and technology, as well as the policies of the government to encourage to produce or to grow wheat as a grow cotton for the farmers or for the growers in Pakistan. So these were the two significant achievements or successes of Pakistan agriculture sector. Now we'll try to see the agriculture sector in different timings, what was the performance, what was the contribution of agriculture sector in GDP and so on. इसको थोड़ा सा इसको overview करते हैं कि how it remains over the time, how it contributed to the world market. Now in 1947 agriculture sector accounted for 53% of GDP. तो जब पाकिस्तान आज़ाद हुआ तो उस वक्त मेजर कंट्रीब्यूशन इन जीडीपी वर फ्रॉम द एग्रीकल्चर सेक्टर्स, जैसे कि मैंने बताया कि 53% ऑफ द एग्रीकल्चर सेक्टर काउंटेड फॉर जीडीपी. इन 2005 की अगर बात करें तो द परसेंटेज इज़ ओनली 23%. तो आलमोस्ट मोर देन हाफ से भी ज़्यादा कमी वाक़ हो गई contribution में. And then if we talk about the very recent years, as 2011 की बात करें, the contribution of agriculture sector in GDP is 21% of the GDP. Pakistan is ranked in Muslim worlds 5th in Muslim worlds and 20th in the worldwide in farm output, right? So अगर Muslim countries की बात करें तो we are at number 5 as far as farm output is concerned, and if you compare it in the world or you look at the world, so we are at number 20th in the production of farm output. Pakistan is one of the 5th largest milk producer country of the world, right? So we are at number 5 as far as milk production is concerned in the world overall. In 2005, wheat production was 21.591 million metric tons, more than all of Africa and nearly as much as all of South America. And this is the figure which we got from the FAO, Federal Agency of Organization, Federal Agricultural Organization. FAO, Food and Agricultural Organization, is the international organization which provide information about the agriculture sectors of different countries. So this is one of the leading organizations in the world, that is Food, Agriculture, Organization. Livestock sectors contributes half of the value added in agriculture sector, amounting to nearly about 11% of GDP, more than the crop sector, right? So livestock जो है, जिसकी हमने अभी पिछली स्लाइड में भी बात की, it has almost 11% of GDP, and it contributes much more than the other crops of the agriculture sectors. Now Pakistan is also Asia's largest camel market, second largest apricot and ghee market, third largest cotton market, third largest cotton, onion and oil market. So if we compare different products in the country by the international level, so we can rank, we see that Pakistan is at very important positions among top of the countries who are producing different agricultural products, right? So this shows that Pakistan agriculture is very important and has significant contributions to GDP, and the government of Pakistan needs to focus on this particular sector because it is the backbone of Pakistan economy. Now fisheries provide direct employment to 400,000 and indirect employment to 500,000 people. It contributes approximately $120 million to exports. Now fisheries की जब हमने बात की, again it is very important, जैसे कि आपने देखा almost 400,000 लोगों को डायरेक्ट नौकरियां मिलती हैं, and there are 500,000 people who are indirectly involved in fisheries activities in one another way, and it contributes toward exports of approximately $120 million to exports of the country. Agriculture crops such as cotton, sugar provide raw material for two of the most important industries in Pakistan, which is the textile and the sugar, right? So there in agriculture sector जो है इसमें दो important crops हैं, which is the cotton and the sugarcane. These are the two important crops of agriculture sector which provide the raw material of the two important industries in Pakistan, which are textile and sugar industry in Pakistan. Pakistan's unsatisfactory performance is mainly due to traditional methods of cultivation, illiteracy and uniform rural population, right? So if we talk about the low productivity of the agriculture sector, it is mainly due to the traditional old methods of agricultural production or cultivations, and most of the people in rural areas are illiterate. They are not educated individuals, so they are not aware of the latest techniques or the modern techniques available for the agricultural production, which can raise agricultural production in Pakistan economy and uniform rural population. So no different levels of populations in the rural areas. Now total supply of agricultural credit has increased from 87 million in 1959 to 47 in 2004 billion, right? So it's tremendous increase in the provision as far as the credit provision is concerned, but still the government needs to provide more incentive, more credit to promote agriculture sector in Pakistan economy. Now supply of other inputs has been increased, like tractors imported and they were locally produced also, supply of fertilizers, seeds, irrigation facilities and so on. So with the passage of time, अगर आप बात करें मुख्तलिफ सालों में पाकिस्तान from independence to now, so supply of inputs has also been increased tremendously. Government has provided incentive for the import of tractors. There is increase in the supply or production of local tractors, supply of fertilizers, seeds and irrigation facilities. Despite of increased input over the time in the agriculture sector of Pakistan economy, the output has not been increased accordingly. जिस हिसाब से inputs बढ़ी हैं आउटपुट में उस हिसाब से इजाफा नहीं हुआ, तो हम ये कह सकते हैं देयर इज़ डिक्रीजिंग रिटर्न टू स्केल इन एग्रीकल्चर सेक्टर ऑफ पाकिस्तान इकानमी। जैसा कि हमने कहा कि there is a lot of increase, tremendous increase in the inputs used in the agricultural production, and like availability of tractors, imported and local tractors, supply of fertilizers, seeds, varieties, as well as irrigation facilities. There is a lot of increase in the supply of inputs, but output of agriculture sector has not increased as much as the increase in input. So we can say that there is a decreasing return to scale in the agriculture sector of production. As we know that when the increase in output is less than the increase in input, that is known as the decreasing return to scale. And we have also learned that when the increase in output is more than the increase in input, so that is the increasing return to scale of production. Now, if we look at the recent performance of agriculture sectors, so we can see that the agriculture sector has lost significant growth momentum as its growth slowed down to 2.7% in 2000 as against 4.4%. The target was 4.4% in 2002, but the growth of agriculture sector was only 2.2% in 90s and 4.5% in the late 1960s. So if we compare different years, तो 90s 80s में 5.4 growth रही agriculture sector में, 90s में 4.4 रही, and then in 2000 it is 2.7. So there is a significant decrease in the growth of agriculture sectors if we compare the last 30 years of Pakistan economy. So in 80s में जो agriculture sector growth थी, it was 5.4%, then it came down to 4.4% in 90s, and then in 2000s it is just 2.7%. So you can see that this is the recent performance of agriculture sector in Pakistan economy. तो पिछले 30 सालों में अगर कंपेयर करें एग्रीकल्चर सेक्टर की ग्रोथ को डिफरेंट डेकेड्स को, तो देयर इज अ सिग्निफिकेंट डिक्रीज इन द ग्रोथ ऑफ एग्रीकल्चर सेक्टर इन पाकिस्तान इकोनॉमी. द स्ट्रक्चरल प्रॉब्लम is the main problem of agriculture sector, and lack of mechanization remains an important or main impediments to growth of the agriculture sector. So दो जो issues, दो जो problem main रहे हैं जिनकी वजह से हम कह सकते हैं कि पाकिस्तान में there is a significant decrease in the growth of agriculture sector. Of कौन सी problem है? There are structural problem, change in the structure of the agriculture sector, and second is the mechanizations, and lack of mechanization remains the main problem of growth of agriculture sector. Major crops remained the victims of natural calamities during the last few years. The major crops in like wheat, rice and cotton, so they remained the victims of natural calamities like floods, like diseases, different diseases during the last few years, and 3 out of last 4 years witnesses negative growth in the major crop sectors. तो अगर पिछले चंद सालों में देखें, because of those calamities, natural calamities, in the last 4 years, so major crops has witnessed negative growth instead of positive growth in those sectors. It causes declining trend of the agriculture sector contribution in the GDP. So when there is negative growth of the major crops in Pakistan economy or in agriculture sector, so naturally the contribution of agriculture sectors in Pakistan economy has declined during those particular years. So this is the recent performance of Pakistan agriculture sector. If you look at this slide, just to give you an idea how much is the agriculture sector growth in different years, specifically in the past few years in Pakistan economy. तो इसमें in the first column we have different years. Second column we have the agriculture sector, the growth of the whole sectors. Then we have the growth of different crops, major crops, minor crops, and other areas of agriculture sector like livestock, fisheries and forestry. If we look at the figures of 2004 and 5, And the growth rate of agriculture sector was 6.5% in 2004. Major crops की जो growth थी that was 17.7%, and minor crops की जो growth थी that was only 1.5%. Livestock, the growth of livestock was 2.3%, and the growth of fisheries was 0.6%, and the forestry went to negative, that is the minus 30.24%. This is the in 2004 and 5. Now if we compare this growth with, like, suppose in 2007 and 8, right, so the growth rate of agriculture sector in 2004 and 5 was 6.5% overall. But if you look at the growth rate of agriculture sector in 2007 and 8, it goes down to 1%. And then major crops, and that was the major reason was that the major crops growth went into negative, minus 6.4. उसके बाद minors की 10.9, livestock 4.2, fisheries 9.2, and again the forestry is again negative. Now if we compare it with the last year, which is the 2010 and 11, के जो estimate हमें given है, so the growth rate of overall agriculture sector is just 1.2%, which is very very low as compared to the 2004 and 5 की अगर बात करें, जबकि agriculture sector की growth rate 6.5% थी, which is just now 1.2%, which is significantly low as compared to that particular year. And the growth rate of major crop is -4, right? It went to negative, right? Decline in the agriculture and major crop production of major agriculture major crops. So this could be one of the main reason of decline in overall sectors growth. Minor sectors की growth may be is better as compared to, if we compare it to the other years, it is 4.8%. Livestock growth is 3.7%. Fisheries की बात करें, it went to 1.9%, which is again significantly low as compared to 2005 and 6. Forestry again negative, it's -0.4. So because of the low growth of all sectors, all areas of agriculture sectors, this contributes towards low growth of overall agriculture sector. So overall agriculture sector की growth में भी आप कमी वाक़ई हुई, और the reason is the low growth of each particular area of the agriculture sector in Pakistan economy. So this table basically can give you an overview of the agriculture sector growth rate in total. मेजर क्रॉप्स की बात की, फिर माइनर क्रॉप्स की ग्रोथ रेट आपने देखा मुख्तलिफ सालों में क्या रहा, एंड देन वी हैव कंपेयर्ड द ग्रोथ रेट ऑफ लाइफ स्टॉक, fisheries and forestries in different years in Pakistan economy. Now what are the salient features or the important features of agriculture sector in Pakistan economy? Now, agriculture sector employs 44% of the workforce in the country. तो 44% लोग जो हैं total labor force के, they are employed in agriculture sector, right? 93% of those engaged in agriculture sector are small farmers. तो उस 44% में से 93% ऐसे हैं कि which are engaged in agriculture are small farmers, छोटे किसान हैं. Total geographical area is that 79.6 million hectares. Now only 27% of this area is under cultivation, right? 80% of this area is irrigated, right? Out of 27% जो एरिया जिसकी हमने बात की अंडर कल्टिवेशन, तो उसमें से 80% एरिया इतना ऐसा है जो कि इरीगेटेड है, जिस पे काश्त की जाती है, फसलें काश्त की जाती हैं. बट अप्रॉक्सीमेटली आउट ऑफ दैट 27%, 20% एरिया ऐसा है जो कि ऑफ एरिया इन इरीगेशन कैनाल, उसमें से 20% जो है, 80% जो आप कह रहे हैं कि इरीगेटेड है, वो उसमें से 20% एरिया ऐसा है जिसकी इरीगेशन थ्रू कैनाल सिस्टम होती है. मोस्ट ऑफ द एरिया इज अफेक्टेड बाय वाटर लॉगिंग एंड सैलिनिटी, एंड एडिशनल एरिया ऑफ 2.8 million hectares is affected by solidity. right? So this is the overall picture of the area, total area, cultivated area and uncultivated area in Pakistan as far as agricultural sector is concerned. No subsidies, high cost of inputs, crops and livestock insurance, lack of veterinary services, lack of mechanization, primitive management and use of modern techniques, lack of education and training, seed quality अच्छी नहीं है, research and dissemination of knowledge. All these are the problems of agriculture sectors कि कोई subsidy नहीं दी जाती, हाई कॉस्ट है इनपुट्स की, क्रॉप्स जो हैं, लाइफ स्टॉक इंश्योरेंस नहीं है, लैक ऑफ सर्विसेज टू लैक ऑफ वेटरनरी सर्विसेज हैं, मैकेनाइजेशन की कमी है, नई टेक्निक्स यूज़ नहीं की जाती, मैनेजमेंट सही नहीं है. एजुकेशन की बात करें, देयर इज़ लैक ऑफ एजुकेशन, मोस्ट ऑफ द फार्मर्स आर इलिटरेट एंड दे हैव नो ट्रेनिंग and facilities or no training has been given to those farmers. Seed quality अच्छी use नहीं करती, lack of research in this area, and of course since the most of the peoples in agriculture sector or the rural sector are illiterate, so it's difficult to disseminate knowledge or information related to agriculture sectors to that particular segment of the society. We'll continue with the salient feature. It is undocumented economy. Most of the things in agriculture sectors are undocumented. No documentation is available, no record is available. How much has been produced by different farmers by producing different crops and so on, what are their expenditures and what sources they get, from where they get income, pesticide and so on. No documentation is available in this sector. Lack of investment, so investment बहुत कम होती है इस एरिया में, बहुत कम लोग इन्वेस्ट करते हैं. Lack of delivery mechanism, so there is a problem in the delivery, how they deliver their product to the market. Say that again, there's lack of delivery mechanism, there's no mechanism available of properly delivery of the crops or the production to the market. No corporations as considered attempt to create big businesses. Industry की बात करें, manufacturing sector की बात करें, there are corporations which can be helpful, useful for promoting industry or manufacturing sector, but in case of agriculture sectors, there is no corporation available which can help and promote agricultural sectors in the Pakistan. Lack of land reforms, no land reforms in Pakistan economy. Lack of organized markets, hence fair value assessment. No, there is lack of organized markets in Pakistan economy as far as agriculture sector is concerned. So there is no fair assessment of the agriculture production or the crops produced by the farmers. उनको सही value नहीं मिलती, right? So there is lack of organized market in the agriculture sector. Lack of reliable statistics, no statistics. So the statistics which is available by different sources, it's difficult to reliable. It's not a reliable figure, so you can't say that this is correct or this will be the exact figure, so which is given in some sources. Institutional arrangements, so there is a lack of institutional arrangements at the government level to promote agriculture in the Pakistan economy. So these were the salient features of Pakistan agriculture sector. Now we'll see that जैसा कि हमने पहले बात की है कि एक टेबल में आपने देखा ओवरऑल ग्रोथ की हमने बात की सेक्टर की, उसके बाद मेजर क्रॉप्स की बात की, माइनर क्रॉप्स की बात की. Now we'll see that what are the major crops, what are the minor crops and how much they contribute in the GDP as a percentage of GDP. Cotton, now first we look at the major crops of the agriculture sector in Pakistan economy. Cotton is one of the major crop in Pakistan agriculture sector, and 8.2% of the value added in agriculture sector, and about it accounts 2% of the accounts 2% to GDP. Overall एग्रीकल्चर सेक्टर में जो इसकी कंट्रीब्यूशन है दैट इज 8.2% जो कॉटन क्रॉप है विच इज़ वन ऑफ द मेजर क्रॉप एंड इट अकाउंट्स 2% टू GDP of the country. Rice is again another important major crops of agriculture sector in Pakistan economy. It earns substantial amount of foreign exchange. Rice जो है मुख्तलिफ ममालिक में एक्सपोर्ट्स किया जाता है. It has a good market, international market, और इसके ज़रिए हम पाकिस्तान को बहुत सारा foreign exchange मिलता है. And 5.4% of it adds into agriculture about 5.4% and 1.3% to GDP. So this is the second major crop of agriculture sector in Pakistan economy. So it has a good contribution in GDP. Sugarcane is third major crop which accounts 4.2% of value added in agriculture sector and 1% to GDP. Right, so these are the three major crops, and the fourth major crop in Pakistan economy जिसकी बात कर सकते हैं, आप कह सकते हैं कि ये बड़ी crop है, बड़ी फसल है, right, is the wheat. Wheat, it 13.4% of value added in the agriculture sector and about 3.4% to GDP. Other major crops are tobaccos, mustard, rapeseed, maize and barley. So these are the major crops of agriculture sectors in Pakistan economy. तो सबसे बड़ी जो मेजर क्रॉप है वो कॉटन है, उसके बाद राइस है, then we have a sugar cane, then we have wheat, then we have tobaccos, mustard and rapeseed, maize and barley. Now what are the minor crops of agriculture sector in Pakistan economy? So minor crops are all major oil seed crops like cotton seed, rapeseed, mustard seed, sunflowers, canola. All these are the minor crops of agriculture sectors in Pakistan economy. तो जो बहुत सारे जो मेजर ऑयल सीड्स हैं उनको हम माइनर क्रॉप्स का नाम देते हैं पाकिस्तान एग्रीकल्चर सेक्टर में. सो मोस्ट ऑफ दीज क्रॉप्स आर इम्पोर्टेड which is about 70.85% of the total availability, and remaining 29.15% is made available through farming. So most of the minor crops, which are the oil seeds crops, are imported from different countries, and almost 70.85% of the total crops is imported from other countries, and only 29.15% is made available through the local farmings or through the local production in Pakistan. So most of the pulses, tomato, potato, onions are other minor crops. So pulses, tomato, onions and potatoes are all the other types or sorts of minor crops. So we have seen which are the major crops of Pakistan economy, which are the minor crops of agriculture sectors in Pakistan economy. तो major crops में हमने देखा कि cotton, rice, sugar cane, wheat and some other major crops like tobacco, mustard and rapeseed, maize and barley are the major crops of agriculture sectors in Pakistan economy. जब हमने minor crops की बात की तो हमने देखा most of the oil seeds जो है are the minor crops, and उसका maximum part जो है हम import करते हैं और थोड़ा सा हिस्सा 30% is produced by the local farming, and some of the other minor crops are like potatoes, tomatoes, onions and some other minor crops of agriculture sectors in Pakistan economy. So this is all about major and minor crops of agriculture sectors in Pakistan economy. Now, series of major problems. If we talk about the problems of agriculture sectors in Pakistan economy, there are number of problems जिसकी बात की जा सकती है. Let us try to highlight some of the major problems of agriculture sectors in Pakistan economy. The first major problem is that despite the policy makers stress on crop diversification, policy makers ये कहते हैं कि you should try to diversify your crops production, and the economy is depending on, instead of the policy maker जो stress करते हैं कि आप diversification लाएं, मुख्तलिफ किस्म की crops लगाएं, cultivate करें, the major our economy is depending on cotton for more than half of its exports earnings. This strong dependence is dangerous given the climate and the viral induced setbacks that cotton production has historically experienced throughout Pakistan history. जो सबसे बड़ा प्रॉब्लम है पाकिस्तान एग्रीकल्चर सेक्टर का वो ये है कि पॉलिसी मेकर जो हैं, जो गवर्नमेंट जो है, जो पॉलिसी बनाते हैं, वो इस चीज़ पे कंटिन्यूसली स्ट्रेस कर रहे हैं, इस पे जोर दे रहे हैं फॉर द डाइवर्सिफिकेशन ऑफ क्रॉप्स इन एग्रीकल्चर सेक्टर ऑफ पाकिस्तान इकानमी, के ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा मुख्तलिफ किस्म की फसलें आप उगाएं, कल्टिवेट करें. बट in spite of all these efforts, the major dependence of Pakistan economy is on the cotton crops, right? And the most of the export earnings come through the cotton crops products, right? So this itni heavy dependence है, you know, there are, but the cotton crops, जैसे कि आपको अंदाज़ा है, since independence is facing lot of problems like climate and viral induced setbacks, and that has significantly affected the cotton production in the country since independence till the time today. So this is one of the major problem कि हम diversifications जो है, lack of diversification जो नहीं है crops में, तो ये एक issue हो सकता है. Second जो major problem है is the food security, which should have been possible given the favorable resource endowment of the country. One of the largest irrigation system in the world has not been achieved so far. So as if we say that we want to provide food security to the individual, to the societies in Pakistan, but so far जो irrigation system है हमारा वो इतना ज़्यादा अच्छा नहीं है, which is not very supportive for the growth of agriculture sector in Pakistan economy, right? तो ये irrigation system जो है, जो canal system है, is one of the best in the world, but we need to improve it further because it is very important impediments in the growth of agriculture sector in Pakistan economy. Third जो important problem है, जो major problem है, rapid increase in population में बहुत ज़्यादा तेज़ी से इजाफा हो रहा है. If you see that annual growth rate of population is about 3%. So when the population is growing so fast, so it has reduced the per capita agricultural production rate in the Pakistan economy. So this could be another problem or threat to agriculture sector in Pakistan economy. Fourth is the growth in most recent decades has come from the more extensive and not intensive agriculture, right, farming. तो इस चंद सालों में जो ग्रोथ हुई है एग्रीकल्चर सेक्टर में, that have come from the extensive mean a lot of labor or laborious work, and crops are grown on the large area instead of intensive agriculture means farming by using a mechanized way or new methods and small farmings ताकि उसकी productivity बढ़े. So in Pakistan recent year growth की बात करें, so the more focus has been given on the extensive instead of intensive agricultural प्रोडक्शन. ज़्यादा एरिया कल्टिवेट करने की बात की गई, ट्रेडिशनल क्रॉप्स को कास्ट करने की कोशिश की गई, बट दे हैव नॉट फोकस्ड और दे आर नॉट गिवन इम्पोर्टेंस ऑन द इंटेंसिव growth of the agriculture sectors. This could be another important problem or threat to the agriculture sector in Pakistan economy. पांचवा जो मसला है एग्रीकल्चर सेक्टर का is productivity growth in agriculture has been small according to a number of indicators like output per hectare is very low in Pakistan, output per unit of single factors, yield gaps between average and best farmer yield and total factor productivity. So there are many factors. इस पे काफ़ी research हुई है and these factors are identified after a lot of research in Pakistan economy and which can become a cause of low or small growth in agricultural productivity in Pakistan. सिक्स्थ जो पॉसिबल प्रॉब्लम हो सकता है द गवर्नमेंट प्राइस सिस्टम, जो गवर्नमेंट का जो सिस्टम है प्राइसेस का, दैट इज कुड बी a problem of agriculture sector because this system has been criticized for introducing a number of distortions and incorrectly trying to remedy the situation through a series of input subsidies. तो गवर्नमेंट फिर कोशिश करती है कि they inject, they provide different subsidies to basically cover up the distortions in prices of different crops. तो price system जो government announce करती है, जो price government fix करती है of different products, ये भी एक मसला हो सकता है and that has been criticized by different sectors, different person by the agricultural farmers in Pakistan. Finally कोई जो और मसला हो सकता है, it could be erratic and inconsistent policies. Policies are not consistent and they are erratic and poor planning and management, for example, of the irrigation system, deficiency in providing fertilizers, lack of quality control on pesticides, inadequate investment in rural infrastructure, and improper research and extension services have played havoc with Pakistan agriculture sector, right? So these are some of the factors that जिसमें आप बात कर सकते हैं कि पॉलिसी सही नहीं है, प्रॉपर जो इंफॉर्मेशन है फर्टिलाइज़र के बारे में, क्वालिटी फर्टिलाइज़र यूज़ नहीं कर, क्वालिटी पेस्टिसाइड यूज़ नहीं किए जाते, इनएडिक्वेट इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर प्रॉपर नहीं है रूरल एरियाज़ में. अगर जब ट्रांसपोर्टेशन की बात आती है, कम्युनिकेशन की बात आती है, तो गवर्नमेंट हैज़ नॉट प्रोवाइडेड प्रॉपर फैसिलिटीज़ to transport their products from the field to the market, right? So these are some of the infrastructure problem. Proper research नहीं है, extension services provide नहीं की proper. So these could be a possible threat or major problems to the agriculture sector in Pakistan economy. So these are some of the main issues of the agriculture sector जिनकी हमने बात की. These could be possible problems of Pakistan agriculture sectors. इसके अलावा भी बहुत सारे इश्यूज हो सकते हैं आपके जहन में. इफ़ यू हैव सम मोर इश्यूज तो यू कैन आल्सो ऐड अप दोज प्रॉब्लम्स टू द एग्रीकल्चर सेक्टर इन पाकिस्तान इकानमी. एग्रीकल्चर क्रेडिट की बात करें, सो ZTBL इज़ वन ऑफ द इंस्टीट्यूशन और द कमर्शियल इज़ वन ऑफ द इंस्टीट्यूशन और द बैंक बाय द गवर्नमेंट ऑफ पाकिस्तान. ZTBL इज़ रईस तरक्याती बैंक लिमिटेड. देयर आर सम कमर्शियल बैंक्स अवेलेबल, कोऑपरेटिव बैंक्स आर देयर, अदर प्रोवाइड डोमेस्टिक बैंक्स are the main providers of credit to the farmers. The farmers get credit for their crop production through ZTBL, commercial banks, cooperatives and other private domestic banks. In 2003 and 4 only, loans were extended to the farming community was in the form of so in 2004 loans were given to the farmers in the form of production and development loans. The amount was rupees 47.9 billion were dispersed and then through ZTBL as compared to 30.6 billion in 2002. So if you compare the disbursement of credit or loan to the farmers in 2002 and 3 जैसा कि हमने compare किया, तो almost 10 billion rupees additional dispersed किए गए just to promote, to give the credit or promote the agriculture sector in the Pakistan economy. Purpose wise disbursement of loan, short term loan भी available हैं, long term loan भी available हैं. एक specific purpose के लिए भी loan आप ले सकते हैं, farmers ले सकते हैं from these banks. Women can also get credit for small farming in rural areas. Micro credit scheme up to rupees 25,000 can be advanced to both men and women against security. Loans are recoverable with 18 months. So there are different facilities, different kind of loans different kind of credits are available with the farmers from different banks like ZTBL, commercial banks की बात की, cooperatives भी हैं और small banks भी होते हैं, domestic banks भी होते हैं in different regions. But of course there are some issues of this agriculture credit. There are problems with this agriculture credit. It's not easy to get credit from these banks, from these cooperatives or other institutions. One of the problem is high cost of borrowing, that farmer has to pay or return huge cost when they return or repay back the loan to the bank. They have to pay the huge cost of borrowing vis-a-vis the rate of interest is very high. This could be one of the problem of getting credit from these banks. Perceived high risk associated with agricultural lending. As we know that agricultural crops are associated with high risk. There is a problem that climate could be changed, viral infection could be there, flood आ जाते हैं, natural calamities आ जाती हैं, that can affect the agricultural crops, production को affect कर सकती हैं. So it would be difficult for the farmers to repay back the loan अगर उनकी crops जो सही नहीं होती, को affect हो जाती है by some calamity. Hassles in credit delivery. So it's difficult to get credit. There are a lot of problem issues, hassles to get credit. Complex documentation, lot of documentation is required. If you visit ZTBL or branch of ZTBL, so they ask or demand so many guarantees, so many paperwork is involved, collaterals, requirement delays, under financing, and most of the time there is under financing. You cannot get the total amount committed by the bank to you, so always there is under financing of different credits by these banks. Limited access to credit to tenants, farmers, oral leases and sharecroppers. Provision of adequate and timely credit भी नहीं है, टाइम पे आपको क्रेडिट नहीं मिलता, फसल का टाइम गुजर जाता है लगाने का और उसके बाद पैसे मिलते हैं. So that these are some of the major जो कि प्रॉब्लम मैंने हाईलाइट किए जो कि हो सकते हैं फार्मर्स को in obtaining credit from different banks or different sources. Now we'll talk about the some of the phases of agricultural growth in Pakistan economy. Phase 1 that lasted up to 1960 is a period of agriculture neglect. So 1960 तक जो है is the first phase, और इस phase तक agriculture sector was neglected mostly, resulting in low annual growth rate of 1.5%. Phase 2 is between 1960 to 65. Trend was reversed. Growth rate was 3.9%. So this is one of this again in this time period 1960 to 65. Trend was reversed. Growth rate was improved from 1.5% to 3.9%. Phase 3 is the 1965 to 70 is the time period which is known as phase 3 in the agriculture sector of Pakistan economy, and during this time period the growth rate of agriculture sector was 7.78%. And this is the period of, as we talked about in the beginning, this is the period of green revolution in agriculture sector in Pakistan economy. Phase 4 that is between 1972 and 77, growth rate declined to 1.67%, and that is due to the number of exogenous and policy related features. So again after the span of 10 years, thus इस पिछले decade में जिसमें extensive growth rate में इजाफा हुआ, अगर आप 1970 to 77 का period देखें which is the phase 4 of agriculture sector in Pakistan economy, तो उसमें growth में काफ़ी कमी वाक़या हुई, and the growth rate of that particular period was 1.67%, which is quite low if we compare the previous 10 years or the last 10 years of agriculture sector in Pakistan economy. In terms of dependent population, अगर आप हाउ मच पॉपुलेशन इज डिपेंडिंग ऑन एग्रीकल्चर सेक्टर की बात करें, 82% पॉपुलेशन इन 1951 वाज डिपेंडिंग ऑन एग्रीकल्चर सेक्टर, 77.5% in 1961, 74% in 1972, 71.72% in 1981, and 79% in 1991, and so on. So if you can see that the dependence on agriculture sector of population has decreased over the time period. So this basically, this slide gives you an idea of different phases of agriculture sector in Pakistan economy. तो जैसा कि देखा, there are 4 phases की हमने बात की, और dependence on population और agriculture sector की हमने बात की. Now we'll talk about the agriculture pricing policies पे बात करेंगे, which was the second part of today's lecture. So what kind of policies were adopted by the government of Pakistan to promote agriculture sector in Pakistan economy? The pricing policy of input and output determine direction of agricultural productivity and also income distribution of small farmer. 2 factors हैं जो कि determine करती हैं agricultural productivity को. One is the price of inputs and the price of output, and it determines 2 things: agricultural production as well as income distribution among the small farmer. So if prices of inputs are low and price of outputs are high, this will promote both the agricultural productivity in Pakistan as well as it give a fair distribution of income among the farmers. A good agricultural pricing policy can be defined as the one where the price act as an incentive to produce certain goods in the required quantity. So a good agricultural policy किसको कह सकते हैं? It is that policy जिसमें incentive provide किए जाएं farmers को in the form of low prices of input, so that they can be motivated, they can cultivate more, they produce more, and which in turn lead to increase in agricultural productivity in the country. So this could be one of the best agriculture policy of the agriculture sector in Pakistan. Agriculture pricing को continue करते हैं. As you know that there is a commission by the government of Pakistan with the name National Commission of Agriculture, NCA, analyze the issue in the pricing policy of the first 2 decades of the Pakistan economy, and then they try to determine the agricultural policies respectively. Government fixed the consumer retail price of agricultural goods at low levels, which depressed the market for the producer. The government ने उन 2 decades में क्या किया? They fixed the prices of products at low level, and that basically demotivated, depressed the market prices for the products of those farmers. Heavy export duties were imposed on cotton to facilitate local industries. So another policy point was that government has imposed heavy duty on the export duties were imposed on the cotton to facilitate the local industry को promote करने के लिए heavy duties impose की on the cotton exports. Inter-district and inter-province restrictions on the movement were imposed. So there was restriction imposed by the government that on the mobility of products between the districts and between the province. So that was another policy matter that was given by the government of Pakistan in that time period. For a decade after independence, no systematic attempt was made to promote agriculture sector in the Pakistan. Industrial sector जो beginning में 10 सालों में 15-20 सालों में ज़्यादा focus जो पाकिस्तान में किया गया, that was on the industrial sector, and agriculture sector was neglected at that time period. Barter trade was a common feature in the beginning in the first years of Pakistan economy, where agricultural products were exchanged for the industrial machinery and input. So agricultural products were provided to get the industrial products as well as the input for the manufacturing sector. Due to these policies, agriculture sector was taken as a medium to protect industrial sector. तो इन policy की base पे हम कह सकते हैं in the initial years of Pakistan economy, agriculture sector was taken as a medium to protect the industrial sector. NCA, National Commission on Agriculture, argued that the main objective of pricing policy of 1960 to 65 was to provide low-cost food to urban population, to provide cheap raw material for agricultural production, and to keep wages of agricultural sector low. So this was the policy of the government in 1960 to 65. Now, first step government took to encourage agricultural output was to subsidize agricultural inputs which cover seeds. So government has tried to boost up the agricultural productivity by providing subsidies, right? So government ने कोशिश की कि subsidies provide की जाए in terms of seeds, fertilizers, tube wells, plant protections and agricultural machinery. But this policy was biased toward large farmers. ये जो subsidies provide की गई in the form of seeds, in the form of tube wells, in the form of plants, and in the form of agricultural machinery, this policy was biased towards large farmers. So most of these subsidies were provided to the large farmers. Large farmers को subsidies provide की गई, facilities provide की गई. Small farmers were ignored by the government in that particular time period. So argument was raised to look behind the input subsidizing policy. Concept of minimum price support program was introduced to protect the farmers from fluctuation in international prices. Government has also given a policy or introduced the minimum support price of different crops, right? And the objective of introducing those minimum support prices of the crop was to basically protect the farmer from the fluctuations in prices in the international market. So this was another policy matter, or the policy which was given to promote the agricultural sectors in Pakistan economy. Last thing that we want to discuss is the agri income tax, because you know agricultural products are also taxed by the government. On the other hand, National Taxation Reform Commission (NTRC) has evaluated policies of imposing taxes on agriculture sector. There is a group of landowners who reside in urban areas. There are arguments on whether agriculture income should be taxed or not. Now some of the policymakers, some of the economists say that it should not be taxed, some say that it should be taxed. Now we'll see that NCA, National Commission on Agriculture, is against this argument and say that agricultural holdings are too small and to generate taxable income. तो NCA जो है, National Commission on Agriculture, जो बनाया गया था, वो ये कहते हैं कि it is agriculture sector is too small and it should not be taxed. Agri is risky. On the other side, आप ये कहें कि it is risky sector and heavily depends on natural factors which creates uncertainty in the final product, and there is no proper insurance of agriculture output. Agriculture sector pays the largest percentage of indirect taxes, that is 42% of all indirect taxes are paid by the agriculture sector, so it should not be taxed more. So हमने ये कहा कि agriculture, there are different opinions by different policy makers. NCA ये कहता है, National Commission on Agriculture ये कहता है, this is a small sector, there are small farmers, and this is a very risky sectors in terms of business due to different climates, due to different natural factors, or there is no insurance as well. And it pays the maximum percentage of indirect taxes, which is 42% of the total indirect taxes are paid by the agriculture sector. So because of these reasons, there should not be, agriculture sector should not be taxed. On the other hand, there is a commission which is NTRC, National Taxation Reforms Commission, has evaluated policies of imposing taxes on agriculture sector, and there is a group of land owners who reside in urban areas and made investment in real estate with income from their agribusiness. वो लोग ये कहते हैं कि एक ग्रुप है लैंड ओनर्स का जो कि अर्बन एरियाज में रिजाइड करते हैं, they are doing business of real estate and they have got income, their income is coming from the agricultural business. Since they pay no taxes, so they are questioned by traders and salaried class to pay tax. Many traders have purchased agricultural land with an intent to escape from income tax. राइट तो बहुत सारे लोग जो अर्बन एरियाज में रह रहे हैं, ट्रेडर्स जो अर्बन एरियाज में इन्वेस्टमेंट कर रहे हैं, दे हैव परचेज एग्रीकल्चरल लैंड टू एस्केप फ्रॉम द टैक्स of the government. So many large farmers are earning handsome amount of money from agriculture sectors and they are supposed to pay tax. So NTRC ये कहता है कि this commission gives comments in the favor of that agricultural sector should be taxed. NCA ये कहता है कि छोटा सेक्टर होता है, रिस्की सेक्टर है, रिस्की बिजनेस है, टैक्स नहीं होना चाहिए. So this was all about today. So what we have learned in today's lecture, so we discussed in detail the agricultural sectors of Pakistan economy, and we started to overview the agriculture sectors of Pakistan economy. Then we have discussed the problems, issues faced by the agriculture sectors of Pakistan economy. Then we have discussed the tax system, taxes on agricultural products, and I hope you have got sufficient information about the agriculture sector of Pakistan economy. And just in this slide, if you look in this slide, I can tell you the major textbook are the sources of information of this particular lecture, because you cannot find this from the textbook. तो आपको इन sources से देखना पड़ेगा. If you want to know more information about the agriculture sector of Pakistan economy, so you can look at the book of Ishrat Hussain, Zaidi S. Akbar, Saeed Khaja, and Economic Survey of Pakistan of different years of Pakistan economy. Right, so these are some of the recommended recommended books for this particular lecture. So we stop our lecture here today. Till the next time we meet in next lecture. God bless you. Allah Hafiz.